Hey,
How's it
how are
going?
you? Good, not too bad.
Nice. Nice to hear. Not too bad myself. I'm going to load up your
Yeah.
Do you want to watch the position 1 or the position 5 game first?
Let's start with the position one, I think. Most of the time I play position one, but if I don't have role queue games and I get to play, of course, all the roles, and I like to play also three and five a lot, to be honest. But and I wanted you to maybe have, don't know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes on the five game. That would be great.
Sure. I was going to ask what kind of distribution you wanted, so maybe 40,
Yeah,
45
or half
minutes.
half,
Okay.
whatever. Yeah,
Sounds good.
I'm good with everything. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, I guess how have things been going since our last session? How long ago was it? It
Oh, it
was
was quite a
yeah.
time because we had to postpone because of first your illness and then mine. Um, Let me
Yeah, it
check.
looks like it was back in January, little over
Yeah,
2 months
yeah, yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
So how have things been going since then?
Not too well. I got up to 1.3K. And then I lost a lot of games, went down to like 900, was even considering deleting the game. um, and then went up again, like, and now I'm at 1000, 1050, 1060, something like that. Um, Back again, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's frustrating at times.
yeah, I understand that.
You know
Was
the feeling.
there Yeah, I do. Was there something I said that particularly helped, or were there things that you felt didn't really help? Were you feeling like there were things what would you feel like maybe made it difficult uh
Mm.
translating what we talked about last time into progress like what this is like we're a team here, so I'm just trying to figure out what I
Yeah,
can do
yeah,
better
sure.
today. Um
Yeah, what was really good, and you put that in another educational video, the statement of me, because I had the CS goal of 10 minutes, 60 CS or 50 CS, and you said this is nonsense. Just replace that with try to have as many CS as possible. That helped me a lot, to be honest. Um, Also, a little bit, we talked about the range creep dying. Yeah, from sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. Um, yeah, what's too complicated for me in the game because it's everything so fast and so much information is we talked about what does a good fight start look for both my team and their team, and what kind of conditions need to be met. And to be honest, I couldn't like use that ever. I tried sometimes, but I couldn't.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's all it's obvious something I've been trying to get better and better at is just helping people. Like some things work, some things don't. What are
Yeah.
the most impactful things? So more and more I'm really trying to refine my ability to give you guys more accurate or like more contextual actionable things to do. So I can see how that one would be a bit too far too big of a jump, I guess I could say.
Mm.
Um so any particular goals for today, or am I just looking, do you want me to look through and see like kind of what's going on? What do you have any
Yeah,
context you'd like to give me?
yeah. I can tell you about this game. We ended up winning this game, but because not because of me, but despite me. So I because Sniper mid carried us. I was feeling helpless from start to the end. I had no idea what I could do to have an impact in this game, and to like the lane was terrible, the mid game was terrible, everything was terrible in this game for me, from my feeling, from my I had no idea, and I was actively thinking during the game, what can I do to make this better? And I didn't come up with anything. It was I was Yeah, and maybe you can help me with that. That would be great here.
Sure. Sounds good.
Starting from laning against Omni was terrible. I don't know if that was just me or if it's a bad matchup or.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm kind of watching this here.
He was also denying a lot concerning my MMR. Normally, people are not denying that well.
So generally speaking, something I talk about, it was actually in a CSing video I did maybe like 3 months ago. If you want me to, I can pull it up. But I basically said on ranged heroes, we don't want to do this. This thing where you
I've
draw
seen
aggro.
that, like pulling and then hitting while they walk towards you. I think I watched that.
Yeah, but like this right here, where you pull aggro to your range, we don't want this as a ranged hero.
Okay.
So like what we're trying to do is create the lane to be as static as possible, and the melee hero wants to do this. So what that means for us is that as a ranged hero, we don't disrupt the lane equilibrium, and we, especially a hero with orbs like Drow, Clinkz, stuff like this, you hit them. So like right now, we would hit them. We would just hit this guy, hit. And if he pulls aggro, then towards the end of that, like you let him do that, and then you pull aggro afterwards. So like say he pulls aggro here, and these 3 creeps walk up to the range, then you have the decision to either go for the range creep and maybe take some damage, or to just defensive aggro yourself and let the range creep go. And because your support's not here, generally that means you have to feel strong to go for this. So if my support's not there, I'll usually let it go. So my issue first and foremost is that when I see a carry player aggro defensively on a ranged hero right away, that is just a huge red flag for me, because that is going to hurt you so much if you're doing this rather than attacking him. So his matchup against you is good in the sense that he does what the Rubik pulls you in and you take 400 damage, right? But the trades are in your favor. So every moment that the lane is sitting here like this and you're hitting him with arrows, it's favoring you. Every time that you're forced to walk up for range creeps where there's a skirmish, it's going to favor them because they have like the burst damage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was I watched your video and then I forgot about it.
So this is the part where it's definitely hurting you a lot in this lane, where you ask, is this matchup supposed to be worse? Like in the first 2 creep waves, you're probably supposed to have hit this Omni Knight 12 times. And we've hit him 0 times. Right? So it's like, if you get it up to like 4 times, it's kind of the same as CS. Rather than it being you're supposed to have hit him 12 times, I want you to think, are you maximizing the amount of times you hit him? Right? It's the same as the CS.
Okay.
So I have these notes for you so far from what you told me at the start, but maximizing the amount of time spent hitting the opponent.
Is this also true for like medium ranged heroes like a Luna?
No. This is especially true for long range heroes, and even more so for orb heroes.
Yeah.
Like Drow and Clinkz. So there's like a sliding scale here. Luna is more likely to defensive aggro when the creeps are low. So like what a Luna would do here is like at the moment where she needs to CS this creep right here, she would defensive aggro. So she would not do it earlier than that. And she would not be hitting the Omni probably. she might look to hit the support. Like, she might, like, look to be over here and hit this guy if the shaman's, like, right here or something. But with the 1v2, I'd be chilling, and then I'd be aggroing at the last second to get the creep closer to me so that I can CS it. That's what I would be doing on a hero like Luna. So generally on any ranged hero ever, we don't want to walk up to the wave and aggro it immediately. Now, the difference is when the waves separate like this, we actually want to aggro the Omni Knight with this creep and pull it up. Like, we want it to go this way. So, like, with both of these creeps right here, we want to pull these creeps upwards. And so what that's going to do is when Omni Knight's doing this over here, notice how the lane is actually going to meet, like, up here when we could have it meet back here.
Yeah, okay, I see.
And that's going to be even better for us because when Omni walks over here, you're going to be standing right here, hitting him, and he's going to be missing CS over here. So, like, anything we can do that moves the wave slightly closer to our tower, slightly further down the lane, you only have the opportunity to do this thing when this exact situation happens where you have 2 creeps chasing you around, he has 2 creeps chasing him around. That's the only time that that's correct. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So these are little things. And so one of my biggest parts about that goals video, and I think it applies to you just also based on the description of your problem you gave me coming into this session, is the goal of the goals that we're making is we want them to be as actionable and minuscule as possible, like as so small, right? So like what I mean by that is like one focus of this is, am I maximizing how much I can hit the guy? And then I just want to interpret everything I'm doing when I defensive aggro, when I don't maintain the lane equilibrium as much as I could. And so there's these little strategies we can do, but like, you know, I'm giving you examples right now. So the goal is I want to learn to hit people more as Clinkz or, you know, whatever. And so it's like on ranged heroes, you're defensive aggroing less. That would be the first step. And unless the creep is low, the only time you defensive aggro is when the creep is low. Right, to move it towards you. Do you know what I mean by that? Just so we're on the same page. Okay,
absolutely.
That's the only time you want to do it, because otherwise you just miss the CS. Like, because the guy's melee and he hits it, and you know, so you have to do it there. But so these little things of like, we want them to be as actionable, as tangible as possible. And so they are going to add up a lot, and we want to hopefully help alleviate that feeling of too many problems to fix. Basically, where you feel like I don't even know what I could have done this game. That's what we're trying to remove, or like replace with something actionable. So far, you know, the thing is, what I've learned on these ranged heroes, if I'm laning off lane, you've either bullied me out of the lane at this point, where you've established you have 2/3 HP and I have half HP and I'm spamming tangos and salves, or you've lost the lane. Like, that's how I look at like 3 minutes into the lane when I'm playing against the Clinxes, the Drows, the Muertas, you know, stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I'm either spammed out or I'm winning. And so at this point, Omni feels really good because he's going to have 2 points in heal soon, which like doubles the value of that spell, which is like really good for him. I assume he took it. No, he didn't, because he's, you know, doesn't want me to have a point. But yeah, so lane's not over by any means. Like, meaning like you're still doing okay. You know, we've seen a decent amount of miss CS. I think that's like a small point though. Nice gank by a sniper. You're gonna go pull small, which is nice. I'd want you looking at the lane a lot more while you're doing this. Like, I would want you to be doing this. So the speed at which you kill those creeps is dependent on what's going on over here. So if they shoved the lane into you, I would want you to kill those pull creeps as fast as possible. If they're staticking the wave here, I want you to deny as many of your creeps as possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
right here, if we were looking, we would have spent this whole time not hitting any jungle creeps. We wouldn't have hit them at all. And then the second this gets below half, we're like, you know, hitting it.
Yep.
So that's the required information to gather here is right as we pull, we just need to look at what they're doing. Okay, it's not inside their tower range. We've got 2 range creeps, so the lane's just gonna sit here. which means we have no sense of urgency to kill this camp fast. If we see them pushing it into us and we take too long to kill the camp, then we usually end up missing creeps under tower because we're over here still, and they can also get in range of the experience of the camp. So it's like doubly bad both ways. Does that make sense?
Yep.
These are all very small things that add up to them getting an extra creep worth of XP 5 times in the first 5 minutes, and then suddenly you're down by half a level. And it adds up a lot. So there's a lot of these little things that add up. I think an extra melee creep of yours should have died there. And now like the creep wave is stuck further out because you had extra melee creeps. So like this creep right here, I understand that you're considering maybe fighting at the thing.
I did.
But you're no death pack charges with 400 HP.
Yeah, I'm in no condition to fight. Yep.
Yes. So what I would do with this creep is I would hold it outside of the tower. Or I would actually, what I would do in a perfect world here is I would pull this creep all the way to here, have it so that it holds this wave until 6 minutes, and then I would pull this camp at 6 minutes. Do you see what I'm doing there?
Yeah.
That's like ultra advanced. The next thing you can do is just don't kill the creep, walk around it in circles so that it holds the wave here. Because now if you kill the creep, what's going to happen is you're stuck fighting over here again with the wave sitting up here. Like, look at you're fighting and the wave's sitting up here. And this is exactly what we don't want. Like, that is predictable to me that bad things are going to happen, that you are doing something that pushes the wave and forces a fight when you have 400 HP. Like, I could tell you something bad's going to happen here.
Yep.
And that's why I paused it, right? So I would be in mode of, am I avoiding fights or am I taking them? So let's take the lesson from last time and let's just apply it to the laning phase. Like the lesson about team fights, what a good fight looks like. Yep. So for laning phase fights, do I want to interact with them or not? So right here, you didn't, but you did something that interacted with them and you got fucked, right?
Yeah.
This is a lesson to be learned where it's just like, you're not going to have a perfect gauge of this, but our goal is, are you consciously trying to interact with them or not? Just how are you feeling? If the lane feels good, then you're trying to interact with them most of the time. If the lane feels bad, you're generally trying to avoid interactions. So I can give you specific strategies like dragging this single melee creep all the way over here and then pulling at 6 minutes. That, like, the best way to avoid interacting is pulling the small camp, right?
Yeah.
So, and then if you get that down with the, based on what's happening in lane, do you static this or do you kill the camp as fast as possible? That's going to further help you interact more efficiently, right? So that's very actionable. Like if you learn to pull the small camp more and then as you're pulling the small camp, match what the opponent is doing with their creeps, that will be better. Like that will just fix a lot of stuff. You'll end up in a lot of less bad fights. Because the lane on average will be around here rather than up here, and that's just good for you in general. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
So then the last part is, on top of this, if we rewind all the way, you are a ranged hero with an orb against no stuns. Because, like, the only thing we have to worry about if we're a ranged hero with an orb is if we're against, like, 2 stuns that can just kill us, right? So you want to interact with them as much as possible right now. You want to hit that guy, hit that guy, hit that guy. You know what does not interact with them? Defensive aggroing.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the moment where it's like, if you knew I want to be hitting this guy, I want to be interacting with him, you'd be over here hitting him with your searing arrow. Right? But instead, you pull a defensive aggro. So it's just like important to know that defensive aggro says that you don't want to interact with them. That's all it's saying. And I'm just telling you, as like a ranged hero with orbs, generally you'll want to be consistently hitting them from as far away as possible, right? Where you're only interacting with them in that way. Any questions about everything I've been going through?
No, absolutely clear.
Cool. So we're going back here. I'm hoping this is a bit more actionable than last time.
We'll see in the game.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see later, I guess. Yeah. Hopefully it feels that way at least. So, yeah, sadly, this is blocked. I would fly myself a sentry. Oh, he
He
dewarded
already
it. Okay,
he
nice,
signaled
nice.
me that he had one. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks funky because it's on the old patch, so it's... Hey, you are trying to pull the small camp, which is good. So this is an example where when you pull small, I would want you looking at the wave again. You would see this, and you would walk back over right now. Like, you would see this, right? And then you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm coming back over.
Yeah.
Same thing. Costing you the opposite direction here, where you're taking too much time farming the small camp, and now you're taking like 400 damage on the tower. I would just eat the flag bearer creep. This is way over passive. I think you're super scared.
Super I was super scared that they kill me.
Way over scared. You're full HP with 2 death packs. You effectively had 1600 HP underneath your tower. That's... Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say other than maybe you're learning the limits of Clinkz, but that was very overscared. Very, very overscared. So if you're pulling the camp, I want you at the very least to try every time to be back in tower range by the time the creeps get there. If you die, we can discuss how you positioned yourself and why you died. But I think in 95% of the situations, you can do that, and I need you to do that every time. I need you to either static this if they are not pushing, or be back in lane by the time it gets there when they are pushing.
Yep.
That's very, very cut and dry. We want to replicate that as often as possible. So I like that you're using the small camp, but in my opinion, in diagnosing this, it's basically if you don't know how you're supposed to use something, then using it is actually going to hurt you. Like, your small camp pulls in general have actually made this lane kind of worse.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so now you got ganked as like 5 heroes. That's just unfortunate. Looks like a Legion mid. So now you're kind of stuck in recovery mode.
Yeah. The only thing that came into my mind was that I chose the wrong skills now, because in recovery mode I would have chosen my Q earlier because it helps me farm.
Nah, your Q is not good enough to help you farm. I think your skills are correct.
Okay.
I think you're good there. Yeah, I don't mind you trying to make a play here. I don't mind that. The issue here is
I didn't know that they were all bottom.
Yeah, so the beauty about Clinkz, I guess you kind of just got ambushed from behind. Yeah, they were pretty well set up for that. That was actually just a kind of a good play by them. I'll give them credit for that. I don't mind you trying to make that play. Honestly, like, this game is so dire in terms of your split pushing that I think you just need to rush Shard right now. So basically, going Deso first is great if you plan to fight with it, but you're like so far behind that I think you need like 2 or 3 more items. Which in that case, if I ever feel like that, I will go the item that gets me 2 or 3 items faster.
Yeah, okay. Shard, sure.
So yeah, I would have gone Shard here with how bad your start was. But it's like this theory of, does next item make me fight? Or should I build for 2+ items? That's just
I think I go Shard next, but yeah, I should have gone Shard right away.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, Deso's great if you hit it between, like, 12 and, like, 14 minutes, right? Because you're going to run around getting kills, and then it's going to snowball it. And now, like, you're just going to die to a blade mail if you try to fight with this. Yep. So you need to be in ultra split pushing annoying mode, and Deso's really bad for that. Because, yeah, you're better at killing towers, but you sit on top of creep waves for, like, 15 seconds like this. With Shard, you literally just go pew, 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 and the wave just dies. So... Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is when you're not strong at fighting, your agency is to clear waves as fast as possible and show on them as little as possible.
Yep.
Most heroes have a way to do that. So for Clinkz, it's Shard. For like a Luna or a Medusa, it's Manta, right? You know, it's like it's either like an illusion, you know, maelstroms, whatever. But like things that help you clear waves faster is your best way to help your team when you're not strong. Especially when you're like really far behind. Basically, building to scale is building to clear creep waves. I would have even considered going like Soul Ring Shard if I had time for it. Just like purely spamming spells to clear waves. I mean, I like that you went for like a kill there. I don't mind that. I would not, this isn't my recommended playstyle. The further behind you are, the more annoying you have to be in the game, is how I look at it. So like right now, if you had Shard, you would have just walked mid when you see fights. Like every fight is an opportunity to go clear a creep wave. Like that's how I look at the map right now. And then basically if you're at the stage around 1K where we need to understand that you getting as many creeps per minute as possible is what's going to win you games. That will carry you until about 2K. I've noticed around 2K is where I have to start teaching people matchups on the map, and that's why I kind of like, I've learned that since our last coaching session. That's why me talking to you about team fights and stuff was the wrong angle. So like, I would want you to think, what allows me to hit the most creeps? So if we want to balance farming and fighting, but like the further behind we are, so like the further behind we are, the more farming we will do. That's just generally the rule for carry. Your only way back into the game is determined by how many items you need, and you usually need more items the worse your start was. It's like if I'm a lifestealer and I get Radiance at 13 minutes, I can literally run around with my team killing people. If I have a 21-minute Radiance, I need to wait for like 2 more items before I can even help my team at all. Like that's how I look at it.
The funny thing is, I do this with like the super farm heavy carries. Like I play a lot of Medusa, and I think I'm for my bracket, I'm good at optimizing farm, pulling camps together, and hitting them with split shot and everything. And then I see, okay, I go like AFK farm because life is so bad, and then I get back like 10 minutes later or 15 minutes later. But yeah, I don't know why I don't do this with, for example, Clinkz.
Yeah, it's funny. Clinkz is actually a really annoying hero for this stuff. Like, he's actually pretty good at this. With the shard and his ult. So like every time, you know, you're saying you do it on other heroes, when you're asking what could I have done in this game, you see this, you clear this.
Yeah.
That's it. Like that's your role in this game.
Yeah.
So basically when game feels bad, I mean just in general, all game states, we are trying to clear as many creep waves. We are trying to clear as many creep waves as we can. When we are losing, the enemy team killing our teammates or showing on objectives, like they're hitting your towers and stuff, means we must be killing creep waves. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, that it doesn't seem like much. It adds up a lot though. That you clear this creep wave right here.
I sometimes tell this my teammates. I say, don't go. There are 5 guys top. Go push the other lanes.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we just need to get you doing it consistently on every hero in every situation. Because I believe you, like by being 1K, like you probably do this sometimes. And I see you.
I was 2K 2 years ago.
Yeah, I believe.
Then the facets were introduced, and this was too complicated, and then I stopped playing, and then I came back.
I got you. Okay, so we took a little bit of a fight here. I think that's good for you. You have Shard now. You're gonna actually kill Lifestealer. Okay, it's so interesting. I get this kill on Lifestealer, and all I'm thinking is, where's the fastest creep wave away from my team right now? That's all I'm thinking. You know where that is?
Mid or top? Top I see. Mid should also be like around the river, maybe?
Away from my team. So top.
Okay,
Now, my team is next to mid. So I'm going to go this way. And what that's going to do is what's going to happen is Legion's going to show somewhere. She's either going to show mid, she's either going to show top, or she's going to show bottom. If she, so I cleared this creep wave because Legion just respawned. So I clear this one. And then I basically wait for her to show somewhere. And wherever she shows, I go push somewhere else or farm a jungle camp near somewhere else. So that's exactly, I have to have this sense of urgency to go clear a wave right now. There's so much precious time being wasted right now where top wave doesn't get cleared. We're not, what's happening here is the reason why this wave is better is because if Legion shows mid like this, you go another wave.
Yeah.
But no matter what happens, you're never going another wave here.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So side lanes are generally better because you can go further. So I would dial up your nuisance level on creep waves by about 5x. So right now, oh, God, my Dota's been freezing so much since the new patch. It's freezing, so it's going to close. Okay. Give it a second here. It freezes when I rewind replays. I'll be resharing that with you in just a sec. Frustrating. I reshared with you on Discord. You may need to reload it.
I see your screen, but not the Dota, but your banana.
You can click it and you should be able to see me.
Okay, perfect.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I lost track of exactly where we were in the game here. So you died top, you get your shard, you take this fight bottom right here. Yep. Okay. So it's really interesting because I want you to think that you are trying to play out on the map as much as possible. So being near your towers is kind of like your score of an impact on the map is how close to your base are you. Really. That means your impact is probably very low. So as you're ramping up, it needs to be more and more. So earlier when you were 0-3 out of the laning phase and you had no fucking items and you're farming back here, it makes sense. But now you've got Deso, you've got Shard, you've got Invis as your survivability. So my goal is to get out on the map. So I would be playing side lanes as much as possible because I'm a elusive guy. Usually mid lane is for people who are not as elusive. People like Hoodwinks and Clinkz and Maranas and shit, they like to play side lanes. Okay. So right now I see a Legion Commander top right now. Where am I going? That's what I want you to think. I could advance on the map. Legion Commander just showed top. She's up here.
Is Legion Commander my only threat?
If you are walking around Invis and they set up on you with 2 or 3 heroes ganking you on a sentry, fantastic. Good for them.
I see. But, but apart from that, it's just duel.
Yeah, but duel is the main way. Duel is the very simple point-click kill you spell. Right?
Yeah.
So when I see Legion, I would be totally fine to be anywhere else. And that's what your Invis is for. That's why Clinkz is so good at this. So right now, I see an opportunity to advance on the map. I go Invis, and I'm going to camp back here, waiting for my shard to come up so that I can shard the next wave. This kind of stuff is really important. It's no longer sufficient to hit neutral camps efficiently. We need to be clearing waves. So this right here, and what happens is your instead of TPing to this fight, you're sharding this wave and potentially going through the twin gate and connecting here.
Yep.
So it's a big difference because the whole situation that's happening here is the exact same, but this wave is gone. Big difference because now all of a sudden, like in 20 seconds, this is going to be hitting a tier 2. One of them's going to TP. You might get a good play off that, right? But instead, we're like kind of forced into this fight that we didn't really have the option. Because if I'm over here, I go through here, I walk through the twin gate, I see my teammate die, I cancel my twin gate, I clear the next wave down here, and then after I clear that wave, I'm running straight to this wave to clear that. That's what I'm doing here.
Yep.
So the biggest thing that I've been telling people, let's ignore the thing I said last time about what does a good fight look like, right? How can we make ourselves out on the map more so that we have a choice between farming creep waves and going to fights? Because any reasonable carry player, when they see a fight brewing, and their choice is to sit underneath their tier 2 farming a camp over here, or going to the fight, they are going to go to the fight. Like, this feels awful.
Yeah.
But if your decision is, do I keep pressuring this lane, or do I go to the fight? That is actually a real decision. And you're suddenly stuck with, I have an efficient pressure farming spot, or I go to this fight. So rather than going to the fight, I need you to put yourself in those spots, basically. Mm-hmm. And it's okay if you go to the fight. I don't really care about your decision of not going to the fight or not. I need you to consistently putting yourself out on the map. And that's what I've been teaching people recently, and it seems to be having more impact positively. So let's not worry as like trust your gut, go to the fight or not. What I care about is that you're at a creep wave when you have that decision.
Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah, trust your gut on that one. Like, we'll worry about that later. What happens in the fight, I'll leave it to you there, you know? We just want to set ourselves up with that extra creep wave every time. Because what the extra creep wave does is every good fight leads to more objectives. Every bad fight leads to less lost objectives. That's basically what this creep wave will do every time we play this. So I see them on the map. I'm being invisible, walking up here and sharding. Where are we going, right? I just want to be walking up and sharding. If you want to take this fight, walk up here, shard, TP back to mid. Right?
Okay.
Same thing. You're giving yourself the choice to fight. And rather than setting up the fight yourself. So this is better. You know, same thing. Where are you going? We want that wave to be you. I guess Wraith King took the wave, though. That's okay. Never mind. That was fine, because Wraith King was bottom. You're going to clear that. Okay, you're going to go Roche. It's fine. You have DD. Okay. Okay. The classic kill Roche and run at them. So Wraith King was super low from Roche, and 2 of your teammates are dead.
Yeah. Immediately afterwards, I said this was a big mistake to just run at them when I see them. This is like crazy.
I'm curious what motivated you to do that? Was a teammate screaming to do it? Did you decide to do it? Like, what had you do?
No, at that time, just I don't know. Immediately after this time, no teammates crying, but that was my fault. And I was recognizing it immediately afterwards. I said, why am I running to these guys? I don't know. I could have gone.
I guess I'm wondering because, like, my question is, what's going through your head when you kill Roche?
Well, first of all, okay, we have an objective. I am not as scared as before to go to the dangerous places on the map. And of course, can set up a fight better. But as I said, this is these things I know from a. But during the game, I then take the wrong decisions. So from an intellectual point of view, I know that this is yes, but yeah.
Okay.
I recognize it afterwards. I had another game, a Lifestealer game, which I did not like put out here, and we had two set of racks, and my teammates were like, "Oh, we go and we finish," and I said, "This is not good. We need to push the other lane first," and I got like talked into it, and then we lost the game because I did what they talked me into it, but this time they didn't talk me into it. That was my fault.
The issue that I have is that the default that the majority of players have is that they kill an objective and they want to either go for more objectives or go fight now. If everyone in the Dota scene just rewired their default to be what creep wave should I push, go do it now. After an objective. There are times where you take Roche and you immediately fight them, but that's not the default. That's the exception. So my thought should be, if you can just write on a sticky note, every time I take an objective, what creep wave or what jungle camp am I hitting next? It's not even an option for you to fight them. I would so much rather you miss a good fight a few times than ever do this again.
Like, the bad thing is, I know this, but most of the time I don't do it.
I see.
During the game.
I'm not sure how to help there.
I get it. It's just me doing it differently. Yeah.
The thing is, I think one of the biggest issues in Dota, though, is that there's so many people that I've coached that come to me saying, I know this, but I don't consistently do it.
Yeah.
And so I think in every individual's case, consistency, it's something that's hard to crack in like the middle of one session or whatever. But I would just encourage you to ask yourself, why do you have trouble being consistent about this? Because for me, that requires some deep thought and introspection. And I'm just telling you, there is a reason. And if you don't search for it, you'll never find it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my thoughts on this. And it's, you are the only one that knows this reason. I don't know.
Absolutely.
So yeah. We all have them. We all have these issues we have in terms of being consistent about something we already know to do. It's the same in real life too. I know I wasn't supposed to do that, and I still did it. So this is just a matter of that consistency aspect. We do have about 20 minutes left, so I'm wondering, do you want me to finish this game, or would you like to go to the other game?
I was just wanting to ask you, just go to the other game from that moment on, like Sniper carries us and we will win.
Yeah, I think just that general staying out on the map and prioritizing waves more is going to be a huge difference for you. And then in the laning phase, worrying about the am I trying to interact with them or not? That's all I'm trying to ask you to do. And just even if you're wrong about, I think I should fight them here and it doesn't work out, I just want you making that decision. I don't mind if it's wrong. You learn a lot more being wrong than not making the decision. So,
here, whenever I play 5, I end up losing like 80% of my games.
Yeah.
But I work my ass off to give the best possible game to my carry, or the best possible start to my carry. And we were, I think, even on the winning path, but we didn't. We lost. And what could I have done differently? I feel like as a 5, I always feel like I don't have any impact. But we'll see.
Yeah, so against Bounty Hunter and Treant and stuff, you definitely need sentries in lane. Your carry will have a very tough time playing the lane without a sentry. I know you sentryed the small camp, but you would probably need 3 or 4 sentries. I'm saying you would need like 3 or 4 sentries, where one for over here, one for here. Small things, but they add up a lot. I would never ward the lane against an invis hero, because I always want to sentry the lane, and then he should have to sentry it off. So I would never ward lane against invis heroes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're doing obviously a good job of trying to fight for the small camp pull. I don't love that you farmed it right there. I don't hate that, though. I'm wondering... Okay, so you go stack for him. You know, my issue is I feel like I've seen the Razor for like 9 seconds in your player perspective. Like I just never know what the Razor's doing.
Okay.
It's like really hard for you to make informed decisions about the lane when I just don't see the offlaner at all. Like I have no idea if he's high health, high mana. I have no idea what his items are. I have no idea what his level is. You did stack. I mean, this is a lot of 5 is just information gathering in my experience.
Okay. Yeah, I don't do that as much as I should. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's by far the biggest thing because you're generally spending less time doing things. And so it's more important. Like, I would much rather you be AFK, like you literally having your hero stand here waiting to pull, watching what the Razor's doing, than like anything else you're doing. Because, like, right now, what's happening is I see you walk out of position into the lane. And for me, that's going to happen to you if you're not really aware of what's going on around you. And it looks like you're prioritizing the mechanics of 5 over the knowledge gathering of 5. And for me, it's like you're doing a good job of playing over here with the pull camps and you're like protecting against the bounty. We need to somehow fit in there just checking to see what the offlaner's doing, because you're not really going to advance past this if you don't have the information to make decisions.
Okay.
Like if you're allowed to leave lane or not, how is the carry matchup going? Can you go on that guy? Like you're not going to be able to choose any of this because we don't know what's happening. So you're going to return to lane. So like, you know your number one homework to do as 5 when you're dead?
Check the items of the other.
Look at all the heroes in the game.
Yeah.
What's going on here? This guy's level 6 and this guy's level 7. Dude, I'm fucking TPing here and wrapping behind this guy right now. What about this? That doesn't look very great. That's fine. I'm TPing right here. Look at this. Like levels, like, you know, this guy just went on this guy. And I'm a witch doctor. I want to be aggressive. Maybe my Skywrath Mage doesn't have the most mana, but like I see 2 guys half health. You know, there's a rune spawning at 8 minutes. This is the dream. Look at this. It's a great lane to TP into. You'd fuck this guy up, but you didn't even look. I don't think you don't know to potentially go. Meaning, like, I don't think if you looked at that, you would not go.
Yeah.
Does that mean, you know, so I think if you saw that, you would have considered going. So, you know, there was I remember there was one video I made about camera control, and the guy was like a 3K support only player. And in the first minute and a half of the lane, his camera was here.
Yeah. I know that. I've seen that video.
Yeah. And I was literally like, dude, just show me what's happening. What's happening in the lane? So yeah, I mean, we don't want, like, I understand. I think it's going to be honestly quite some time since you don't, I think if you really want to learn 5, meaning like, I know it's not your main role and you're mainly playing it for role queue tokens. I don't know exactly what the maximum amount of role queue tokens is. But for me, I think the most efficient thing to do here would be to spend a time where you gain maximum amount of role queue tokens and you actually queue like 5-3 only. You know, where you, so like at that point you actually get to practice these roles such that when you're thrown into them again, at least your autopilot's kind of decent.
From queuing 5-3, I don't get role queue tokens. I just don't spend any.
No, that's what I'm saying is you play role queue tokens all the way up to max.
Yeah.
Playing whatever roles. And then actually spending time queuing both 5 and 3, and then eventually you can just go play 25 or whatever games of carry in a row later.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying that if you're stuck in this position, I think you're kind of in a losing proposition to like play support once every 5-10 games. Like you're just not going to learn any of this.
I see.
And a lot of, for me, is that it actually helps you so much as carry to play some 5 because you can just watch things as they're happening. And you can see a lot more of what's going on in the game because you have the time to do that. But right now, since you're actually not playing support enough, it's understandable that you're kind of lost in the sauce of like trying to deward this camp, trying to position my hero, trying to all that. Like, you're stuck doing all that stuff. And, you know, we would want you to have probably 1 or 2 5s that you play, like really small hero pool. And then if we just get you looking around your lane more often and around the other lanes, I don't necessarily need you to know exactly what to do with this information, but then you'll actually be better at gathering information as a carry as well. Like, you'll just get better at it. That's what happened to me, at least.
What 5s would you suggest at this bracket? To play?
For me, it's all about wave clear as an option. So like I would probably pick in the current meta, probably like I'd probably go like CM plus. I mean, honestly, like Witch Doctor's fine. Like if you like Witch Doctor, he's good at killing people, and he generally does well. I think in your bracket, so I think Witch Doctor would be fine. I do like CM Witch
And
Doctor.
S3?
S3, I think Doom's really strong right now. I think Tide's really strong right now. You know, I think Legion's fine if you want more of a like a killer hero.
Yeah. All 3 I'm not very familiar with. I didn't play them.
Do you have offlaners that you have experience on?
Sure. CK, Slaughter, maybe are like the top ones. Sometimes Viper.
I think your hero pool is less relevant as it is to how good you feel about playing the heroes. You know, the funny thing about CK, Slardar, Night Stalker is those are like 3 of the worst farming offlaners in the entire game.
Yeah.
You know, Viper's okay because of his W and stuff, but you know, for me, I just tell people the way to get to 2K is to farm. That's to know how to farm, not just to blanket like AFK farm, but like to know how to farm is to get is how you get 2K. I think it's really difficult to get out of 2K or to get to 2K if you're not farming properly.
Okay.
And so I just think heroes that play around kills are harder to learn the game properly. It's just harder, I think.
Okay, I see.
You know, everyone's welcome to their stuff. I don't want to shut down. If you like those heroes, I'd rather you play those heroes than play heroes you don't want to play, right?
Underlord, maybe?
I love Underlord. Yeah, he's great at farming.
AFK, clear waves?
Yeah, Underlord's great for practicing map farming. Great for that, if he's a hero you like playing. Yeah, Underlord's great because he can show up to fights from anywhere. He buys items for the team, and then he clears waves really fast. He's great. Dawnbreaker's also great for that. I think she's pretty strong right now, too.
Maybe I like her as well.
Yeah, Dawnbreaker would be a good option. So what's really funny about all this, remember what we talked about as Clinkz? Where your team's fighting and you need to get waves?
Yeah.
Same thing applies to underleveled supports. I need you to see what's happening in the game and go here right now.
Yeah.
That just needs to be your auto trigger. Like, you are looking for waves to get XP. That's all you're looking for. Like, at all times, you're like, it's like, instead of like threat scanning in the environment where you're like, is there an animal over there? Is there an animal over there? You are literally a starving homeless person that's waiting for food to show up. Like,
yeah, okay.
I'm not trying to be mean to homeless people, but you're not prioritized in the game, right? Like, you're not given a lot of resources, so we need to be on the lookout. When is there a wave that's ours? So right now it's mid. So like we can rewind and it's still there right now. Like, it's literally been there for how long? Like, look at the wave mid. It's just sitting there. You're level 5 and a third. It's just sitting there. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's just sitting there. I want you to think that the core's job is to eat dinner and your job is to eat the scraps. I know that sounds like a horrible analogy, but do you get what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the lanes, as 5, the lanes are like the core's scraps, basically. Don't let food go to waste. Don't let lanes go to waste. Look for opportunities to go to waves. And this is just, it's the same thing with supports. It's so much about efficiency because you need to get levels. Every item you buy is like so impactful. And so you get level 6 because you clear mid and suddenly you like, hey, Sky, let's go smoke bottom and kill somebody. But you're never going to get these proper opportunities if you're not clearing the waves and you're not giving yourself the experience. Like, you literally are just level 5.5 stacking camps while mid-wave dies. So you're like, earlier you talked about prioritizing giving your carry a good game. Get yourself level 6, man. Who fucking cares about your carry? Okay. You play the lane as best you can. Get level 6. You know?
Yeah.
You're not griefing the lane or anything like that. Like, you're trying your best. But right now, you're thinking about stacking for him over you getting level 6 from a mid-wave, which is, we you know, I would 10 times rather my supports be level 6 than be stacking camps for me.
Yeah.
10 times rather. So we walk to mid here. I don't hate this. Let's see. You're buying Glimmer Cape. Yeah, we need a lot of sentries and dust because we're against bounty. I'm just sitting mid right now. I think it's really important as in lower MMRs to not get stuck in this endless mid back and forth. When you see this type of stuff happening, please just walk to side lanes. Be ready to TP mid, but just walk. You could have started it back here. Just don't TP like this to mid lane when you see these type of things. And you respawn. Just, when you're respawning like this, just walk bottom. Or top. It's fine. Just walk somewhere. I promise you, just stop pulling yourself into these, like, mid lane things. I don't even know what they are. If this fight ends up breaking out around here, feel free to TP, right? We don't want to TP bottom because that means we can't go here. But, like, right now, I'd be watching all of this, and I'd be like, I'm killing this creep wave, and I'm going to go get a Wisdom Shrine. And I'm still looking. Like, that's what I'm thinking. But I've just seen this happen in lower MMRs way too much, where we just end up in this perpetual fight mid. And all I want to scream at people is, somebody just fucking leave. All it takes is one. Just leave. And tell the team to be careful. Just leave. But, like, it's literally like this, everyone's handcuffed themselves together and accept we're in this and accepted that we're in this together. And it's like, just get out of there. You know? It's the same, like, it's funny because people, there is the concern that, like, your teammates are going to report you for not being there. And that's why it's so important to have your TP, but you still probably wouldn't use it unless the fight looks good. And if they report you, like, it just, sadly, like, I know it sucks, but, like, it's not good to be in this situation. And it's like, you know, empty can rattles the loudest. Sadly, the people that are reporting you are the ones that are going to probably be 1K for ever. Like, that's just sad.
I think after that, I changed the behavior.
Let's see. Let's see what you do. I would assume you go right back mid.
Yeah, I walk mid.
Better. Okay, you're going to walk bottom now. That's better, actually. Yeah, that's better. Very nice. I would want you to have Ward Sentry Smoke on you close to 100% of the game. If you want to walk into lanes, areas that you don't see like this one, I would have only done that smoked. That was kind of just a YOLO walk into them. What are you doing now? You're... Okay.
I think I'm getting smoke now.
Yeah, you've just been walking around a lot. Yeah, I don't think you've had a smoke this game. Maybe like CM's buying them all or something?
I had, but not yet.
Ward plus sentry plus smoke in your inventory as close to 100% of the time as possible. That's just same thing as not looking around. You're just missing opportunities randomly because you don't have these items. You know, we are talking about a lot of baseline fundamentals. I know support's not your main role. But notice as... So you do buy some smokes, which is nice, but we don't have ward sentries on us now, so we still can't make plays. Yeah, the casual CM Sky Witch Doctor pushing a tier 1. Okay. The last time we talked about going to fights based on how good they look, you must look at fights for at least 3 seconds before you go.
Then I wouldn't have TP top.
I just want you to look. That's the homework. So with this applies to carry too, by the way. Just look at them. So I have a sense, because we're wrapping up here, I have a sense that that when we talk about like the goals and stuff and like trying to do too much, that the sign of somebody trying to do too much in Dota is that they react quickly to things. In my experience, Dota is all about speeding up. Like, it's all about being faster and efficient with your decision making. But in order to do that properly, you must first be able to make the decision by looking at it for 5 seconds. You can eventually make the decision by looking at it for half a second. But it starts with you looking at it for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
The worst thing we can do to never get better is to just not give ourselves the time to make a decision. Because this isn't a decision. You just TP'd. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So better to be late than to overreact.
Basically, you will have 10 times more problems reacting without information than you will by being a little bit late. Yes. Yeah. You'll have way more problems. So we would prefer to be late rather than react too quickly. That's a huge one. That applies to every role. Because it's much easier to be like, like, I wish I was at that fight earlier. I looked at it for 5 seconds, and I could have known this in, like, 2 seconds. But, like, that's something to learn from. But in this, it's like, I shouldn't have TP'd. But, like, there's nothing to learn there. I just shouldn't have TP'd. Why shouldn't you have TP'd? There's no information to know that you should not have TP'd. My carry's getting gone on. I guess I should TP. But, like, you don't actually see what's happening to him. So you're not able to learn why you should not have TP'd. So that's the goal, is to learn, right? Our goal is not to win this individual game, to react as fast as possible. Our goal is to learn from every decision that we're making. So a lot of times what I'm trying to do for my coaching students, and what I'm really trying to drive home for you as like the takeaway from this, is create decisions.
Yeah.
We just need more information as 5. That's a big thing. And then as carry, it was put yourself out on the map for creep waves. And that comes with who's the threat on the enemy team, and try to play as many creep waves as we can, playing around the fact that they have that hero as a threat. There's usually only one. Sometimes there's 2. You know, sometimes there's like Legion off lane and Lion Ursa safe lane or something, you know. But I would much rather see you dying on creep waves because you're trying to push them too much, or TPing to fights too late because you looked for too long. Like, that would be way better for me than what I'm seeing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. Do you have any like final thoughts or questions about anything we talked about or as support?
No. A lot to process, but yeah, that's very good.
Awesome, man. I'm glad. Then I'll let you go there, and I'll see you later.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Bye.
I'll do my best.
Yep, sounds good, man. Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.